Hello, everybody. This is your host, Mia. Thank you for tuning in and listening to another episode of the one and only SoulWave podcast. Enjoy. I'm trying to figure out if I can still record even though my little heater fireplace thing is on the background because I'm fucking freezing. It is so cold in this studio. We might just have to rock with it. Oh yeah, we're just gonna rock with it. I just re-listened to that and I'm gonna keep that little snippet in. So if you do hear a noise in the background, you know what that is. But what's up, gang? How we doing? What's going on? Where are we right now in the world? How's your life? I hope it's good. If it's not, I'm sending you guys some healing energy, some love and light, some positive vibes. Let's pick that shit up. So yeah, I'm so excited for today's episode. I love music. If you guys don't follow me on IG, shameless plug, at mia.cromaldi, that's my personal account, and at the SoulWave podcast for the podcast account, you wouldn't know that I'm also a DJ, amateurly. You know, I'm not like spectacular or anything, but I really enjoy mixing and layering music and bringing a fantastic vibe. Music has been such a large part of my journey. It's literally, I can always count on music. Like, there's not a moment that I'm not listening to music. Sometimes I think too much where I'm like, okay, Mia, we should probably sit in silence for a little bit. Let's not drown out all the voices in our head. Sometimes they be helping. So I wanted to start a new series on this podcast where every now and then, if you see an episode with a title and then dash remix, that is because I'm coming on and I'm bringing you guys one of my dear songs, and not like my music, but a song that means a lot to me, something I resonate deeply with, something that has helped me awaken, or I've had epiphanies from, downloads from, shit that's helped me heal, and my little spin on it, my little take. So let's get into it. The very first song for this series is gonna be Help by Papa Roach. I keep saying this, bro. Oh my God. Papa Roach. Help by Papa Roach. My goodness. Okay, so everyone stop what you're doing. Pause this. Go listen to Help by Papa Roach and then come back so you know what I'm talking about. It's kind of like a rock. I wouldn't really say metal, but maybe some people would put it in the category of metal. My favorite song. Go listen to it. Come back. Okay, are you back? Nice. So I love this song so much because it takes me back to a period where I was really struggling and where I was suffering a lot and I was struggling to ask for help. And now when I listen to it and why I love it so much is because like, wow, like I'm not there anymore. And that feels really good to recognize how far I've come. And, you know, up until recently, last year or so, I really struggled with asking for help. I mean, the very first lyrics of this song says, I think I need help. I'm drowning in myself. And I get goosebumps, bro. It's so weird. So I'm like, that's facts, man. Like, I'm sorry, I'm just like reading the rest of the lyrics. I think the chorus goes, I can't pretend that I ain't been through hell. I think I need help. I'm drowning in myself. Like, I really felt that. So, like, as I said, up until recently, I really struggled with asking for help, and for a multitude of reasons. I'm going to go into them right now. And I really sat with this song within the last year and meditated on, why do I struggle asking for help? Like, because there was a point in my life where I didn't even know I needed help, which was like, I don't know if that like in your face shows you how badly I was like fucked up. Like, I didn't know I needed help. But then like once somebody, like my mom came in, she was like, dude, like you need to go and you gotta talk to somebody. And I was like, how do I do that though? Like, I don't know, but I'm so glad she did because it changed my life, truly. So I mentioned this before, on the podcast, I didn't really grow up in the best emotionally safe home when I was a child. Um, Especially having incarnating to this earth, being a very open and clear empath as a baby and feeling a lot. I don't believe my family was ready or like educated in the best way on how to help me. So that blah blah. That caused me to close myself off. Another story I share quite a lot is when I was younger and I would fall or I'd get hit and I'd fall down while playing soccer. My dad would always scream from the sidelines, like, she dropped you like a sack of dirt. And that would like infuriate my ego kind of. And so I wouldn't take a knee. I wouldn't show that I was in pain or anything like that. I would raise my hand and sub out like during the next time the ball went off the field because I didn't want people to see that I was weak. I didn't want them to see me hurting or that I needed help, which is just so crazy because part of me I'm like, holy fuck, like that's so traumatizing. But also at the same time, like I would not be as strong as I am today if that happened because, I fell a lot when I was a kid. They used to call me Clumsy Grimaldi. And if every time I fell, I cried, I don't know. I don't think I'd be as strong as I am today. Maybe people beg to differ, but so subconsciously, meaning I wasn't really aware of this, but like I just mentioned, I was afraid of looking weak or incompetent or that I couldn't handle life. And, especially as a girl growing up, I mean, women were already facing such a stigma against them that they were so needy, that they needed to depend on man. And I never wanted to be like that. I worked really hard to make sure people never saw me like that. Honestly, like I was never one of the girls. I grew up around a bunch of guys. My best childhood friends were a group of boys, and we would kick it and we would do dumb shit that you would label that boys would do. We would ride dirt bikes at our park. We would build stuff. We would get dirty and play sports, and that's just my childhood. So the whole neediness or seeming incompetent was something that I didn't really know. That's why I say subconsciously until like I sat with this song and I recognized that I didn't want people to see me like that, especially if I go and ask for help. I had a belief up until last year is that we can figure out everything on our own. And I think having that belief was a gift and a curse because I always persevered through a lot of the shit that I experienced. I always depended on myself. I always sat with myself and said, Mia, we're going to figure this shit out. We don't have another choice, right? We got to figure this shit out. But also on the curse because I would tell other people all the time, I'd even tell my Reiki clients sometimes, like, you don't need my help. Like, you can heal yourself. You can figure it out on yourself and, like, reach out when you hit that wall. And that's when I would reach out, is when I hit that wall. But now realizing that I would stress so much, I would cause all this unnecessary upheaval in my body, in my mind, in my soul by pushing off the idea of asking for help until I hit that wall. All because I didn't want to seem needy or incompetent. Isn't that crazy? I also struggled with asking for help because I didn't want to burden others. I know some of y'all feel that for sure. Feeling like a burden can mean you're afraid of, like you're inconveniencing or you're annoying or you're frustrating other people. Worrying that others are growing tired of you or your needs or your requests. And it's a shame because that feeling holds us back from being our true selves and asking for emotional support or setting boundaries. Even when those close to you in your life reassure you you're not a burden, I think that feeling still creeps in every now and then. I'm aware I have had, still do I guess, a lot better foundation than most people, but that didn't say, or not to say that I didn't witness my parents struggle or I didn't hear them shout and fight over their hardships. So I never wanted to add to their problems because also I think to add into this, being an empath when you're a kid, You can take on the stress and the pain of the people closest around you. And especially if that's your parents and you have such deep love for them. So now I'm here stressing about their money issues that they're stressing about, as well as stressing about my own problems I'm facing as a little 5-year-old. So I don't want to add to that weight because I know everyone has their own problems, and that's not... I don't know what that's not, but that's just not it. And so I'm not done yet. Another thing that this song brought me is I wouldn't ask for help because I still do kind of have control issues. I think that stems from my anxiety, and that is for oh my God, I can't speak today. For a whole other episode. Me asking for help means I have to relinquish control. And I wouldn't say that's like the big one that stops me from asking for help, but it's definitely why I delayed the process of it so much. I don't really know how to dive into that. But people with control issues that come from anxiety, y'all know what I mean by that. Like, asking for help on a certain situation means it's going to have to go a different way than what I thought it would. And that way may spark up my anxiety because it's not comfortable. It would require me to do something I'm not used to doing, possibly. Interesting thought. And then when I started asking for help, I would always want to confide into a male romantic interest. I don't know why, but that's just how it went. And then I stopped asking for help because I discovered that the men I was confiding into weren't trustworthy. And in the sense of sometimes they can only meet you where they meet themselves. Well, no, all the time. I believe that to my core. That is a knowing of myself, is with anybody. They can only meet you as deep as they meet themselves. And not to call out men, I'm sorry, but I feel for you because I also feel like I could speak on this because this is what I went through. Since I didn't grow up in an emotionally safe environment and I would shut out my emotions, I would ignore my emotions, I would push them to the back of my mind, I didn't acknowledge them. And so when I didn't acknowledge them, I didn't know what emotion was what. I didn't know when I was experiencing grief. I didn't know when I was experiencing pain. I didn't know when I was upset or hurt or angry. It all just came up as anger. Because that's how the masculine was brought up in society. Is that if you're going to show any emotion, let it be anger. Let them see and assert your dominance, right? And so nowadays, I feel like the masculine collective are so far behind in getting to know their emotional interior because of this social construct that we grew up in. And so when I would go and ask for help from men, I realized they couldn't help me because they didn't even know how to help themselves. They didn't even know their own emotions. How can I bring to the table all these feelings and all these emotions when knowing that either they're going to dismiss it, they're going to tell me it's fine, everything will be okay, or mock me, or what happened most times out of all times was they got afraid and they would run. Because me bringing my shit to the table, asking for help, brought up all their shit and their pain and their traumas, and that is a lot. And their defense mechanism is to run. Am I wrong? Now, I don't mean to call out all guys there because, I'm surrounded by quite a few men that they actually go and they research this stuff, which I think is pretty cool. They started doing it recently, trying to figure out their own emotions. I put all my friends on to having a picture saved in their phone of an emotional word list It's something you would see in like a daycare with like a bunch of little kids' faces on it with different expressions and like a bunch of emotional words. So when they're going through something, they can refer back to it and be like, oh, I'm feeling confused. I'm feeling unseen right now. I'm feeling scared and lonely. So not all men, but the men I go after, I'm attracted to the extremely dominant masculine men, but that also means extremely wounded. I'm sorry not to call out any of my ex-lovers, but we were vibrating on the same frequency because at the time, this is what I was experiencing. So crazy, so crazy. So anyway, that caused me to stop asking for help too, because once I tried to depend on the people I love and that I thought loved me back, which they did, but only at the level that they could love themselves. And to me, I want to go deep. I am deep. So they really only ever met me halfway. It hurt. I would shame myself, like, you knew you shouldn't trust them, Mia. You just opened yourself up. You made yourself really vulnerable and they couldn't help you, or they proved themselves to be unworthy, or they wouldn't answer you back. Which is really shitty, because I don't mean to come off and sound like I'm blaming these men, or I hate these men, or that I'm belittling them, because not at all. I think all my past loves, I all still deeply feel for them, and I always include them in my prayers, because I can see their pain, I could taste their hurt. And if anything, I wanted to help them heal and heal with them, because I have this wisdom. I share it for the world to hear. How can I help these other people? But I also learned that, if they don't want to show up, I can't force them. You can only lead a horse to water. You can't make it drink. So I had to back away and just do me and show them how thirsty they really were. And hope and pray that maybe someone else would awaken this flame inside them to heal. And to be able to ask for help. For all of you guys listening, by the way, that is called emotional unavailability. If you want to put the psych term on it. Give me a second. I need to turn off this heat. It's getting a little toasty in here. Anyway, okay, back to the song though. Help by Papa Roach. Would you consider it metal? I don't really know. But for me, metal music, rock music automatically equals a dark place for me. Not for everyone, and I know that, but the vibrations in the music, they're heavy. They're dense and they're low. And I love all kinds of music. I knew I grew up around metal. And like how I mentioned in the beginning, this song takes me back to a time period where I couldn't ask for help. And I had all these hang-ups about asking for help. And it's raining outside. Ugh. I have a love-hate relationship with the rain. It makes my knees hurt. But it's a very cozy vibe. Anyway. But when I finally did ask for help, when I finally started to get therapy and mentorship, my world switched around crazy. Because don't get me wrong, humans by design, we are hardwired to want to do things on our own and be independent minded. And I believe we can. I believe we should all have that belief in ourselves to figure shit out and to move through it and overcome any obstacle we may face. But I realize that sometimes believing ourselves to figure shit out may also be knowing when to ask for help and when to go before you stress yourself out, way before you hit that wall. You do way too much damage and you burn yourself out trying to put off asking for help when you could really solve and relieve so much stress if you go seek outside guidance. And when you go to seek outside guidance, make sure it's somebody trustworthy. Make sure it's someone who, like a therapist, knows their stuff and it's not an emotionally unavailable person. If it's already hard for you to ask for help, you don't want to make it harder. And you want to get that help. You want to just get in, get out, keep it pushing. Am I right? I'm right. So, I do want to say and add that we underestimate how much people really do want to help, especially our friends and our family members and our loved ones. I do say proceed with caution because you can be left like how I was feeling if people don't know how to meet you where you need to be met. But people want to help. They do. You know what part of the song, too, I really felt like, it just hit so hard? The whole entire song hits. The rhythm, the tempo, the beats, the melody. But the bridge. I think I need help because I put myself through hell. Like 9 times out of 10, whatever we go through, we tend to make it a million times worse in our head. And when we go seek help, it causes us to get those thoughts out, those words out. It forces us to say it out loud for someone else to witness, and then hopefully they can bring us down, they can ground us. We put ourselves through hell. I'm my own worst enemy for real. I hope you guys enjoyed this new series. I'm really excited. I love music, like I said, and I'm excited to put you guys on to some new tunes. So if you guys have any music and songs that have helped you, send them to me. Drop them in my DMs. Put them under an Instagram post. Everything's in the description box. So yeah, that is going to be it for today's episode. Thank you again so much for joining and listening wherever you are. You're in your car on your way to work. You're in work. Fuck that job. I kid. You do what you got to do. You're on the treadmill. You're deadlifting. Push, baby. Push it. Get it up. You're cleaning your house, or you're just laying in bed, wherever you are. I really, really appreciate it. If you have not yet, go ahead and check out the Instagrams at the SoulWave Podcast and at mia.cromaldi. Everything you need is in the description box below. And thank you so much for listening, guys. I'll catch you on the next wave.